Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Wednesday, October 24th, and today's video is going to be about Tropical Storm, now Hurricane Sandy, which is located just south of Jamaica. Unfortunately, I do not have Jamaica or most of the Caribbean actually on this map and stuff. I do have the Bahamas, though, and I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. We do have Hurricane Sandy. It was upgraded to a hurricane very early this morning, actually. Winds right now are about 80 miles per hour, which makes it a Category 1 hurricane. And then the movement is north-northeast, about 12-13 miles per hour. And then the minimal pressure right now is around 973 millibars, which is pretty low for a Category 1 hurricane. Now, it is moving north into Jamaica, actually. Jamaica will feel effects this afternoon and going into this evening. And then it is going to cross over Jamaica. And then later tonight, between 10 and midnight, it is going to cross over the eastern part of Cuba. So a lot of torrential rains, a lot of mudslides, landslides will be happening down in those areas, unfortunately. Now, with the higher terrain and kind of mountainous terrain that Cuba does have on the eastern part of the island, it is going to weaken Sandy down to probably a strong tropical storm between 60 and 70 mile per hour winds. And then it will reemerge actually right into the Bahamas, probably about Friday going into Saturday. Now, some of the computer models are saying that it's going to take until probably Saturday or even Sunday. Other computer models are saying Friday is when Sandy will make its way into the Bahamas. So right now, we do have hurricane watches and warnings up for the Bahamas, and we actually have special weather statements and tropical storm watches for parts of the southeast part of Florida, including Miami-Dade County, and then going up the coast, I think all the way to Cape Canaveral and Cocoa Beach up toward those places. So you want to be up on your guard if you live down in the southern part of Florida. Sandy is a very, very large tropical system, and even though it's not going to make landfall in Florida itself, it is going to stay east into the Bahamas. We are going to have wind, high surf, and even rain on the backside of the storm coming into parts of Florida. So we are going to have a lot of impacts coming into southern Florida. Now, this is the tricky part. Where is Sandy going to go once it comes back into the Bahamas? Some computer models are saying it's going to veer off to the east toward Bermuda, which means that the subtropical jet that is set up over Mexico and stuff is making the westerly winds push and put in favor of putting Sandy out to sea. That's one computer model run. The other computer model run is having Sandy be brought up right along the east coast. And that's due to the jet stream, which currently it's dipped down in the heartland of the country, pretty much like the Midwest and the plains, and that's going to move eastward by this weekend. And if the winds are strong enough in the low-level jet, then it's going to pull Sandy up and along the east coast. That would be extremely bad. We would have torrential damage, torrential rainfall, wind damage, there you go, high surf, high wave threat, and even Appalachian mountain snow possible if that does happen. So we have two models with two different scenarios, either bringing Sandy up the east coast or bringing it out to sea. Hopefully we have the one going out to sea and stuff. That way we don't have to deal with the whole entire mess. Now this is going to happen early next week, Sunday into Tuesday and Wednesday, so right around the Halloween area, unfortunately, time frame. Nevertheless, it will be out of here by Halloween. It just might be situated over northern New England and Atlantic Canada by the time mid next week rolls around. So if you live on the East Coast, you definitely want to be have your guard up and have your safety kit ready in case this Sandy storm does make its way up the East Coast. Again, if it does, a huge windstorm. We're talking several hundred miles across here. And obviously the megalopolis, tons of people, very populated, heavily populated. There's still leaves on the trees, even though it is the end of October. So with high winds, we are going to have a lot of power outages and you know, it's just a bad scenario and stuff. Very rarely we will have tropical systems make its way from the Caribbean and come up the East Coast, kind of like a nor'easter. Back in October '91, we had what's called the perfect storm. Some of you may remember that and stuff. So it's kind of like the same situation. However, the perfect storm was I think two or three storms coming together. This is just one storm, and then an area of low pressure pretty much coming across the Northeast and kind of combining, which is what the Euro model is predicting that is going to happen. Kind of come in together as one big monstrous storm. If the Euro model is, or that's what the Euro model is saying. The GFS model, the American model, is saying that it's going to go out to sea. Hopefully it does, so we don't have to deal with the whole big storm and everything. So, but nevertheless, if it does go out to sea, we are still going to have a lot of wave action. Maybe some moisture will probably be kicked back into the states and stuff. So you might get some rain and some wind, but definitely high surface is going to be the main issue, regardless of where the storm goes, all along the East Coast and stuff. So right now, again, we have tropical storm watches in southeastern Florida that will probably change over this day or so, going especially into the Outer Banks of North Carolina, Delaware, New Jersey, all the way up along the New England coast. We might have some, if not tropical storm watches or warnings, we'll probably definitely have high surf advisories and probably wind advisories put in place instead of that, if Sandy doesn't go up the East Coast and rather up out to sea and stuff. So that is my video for today. Just wanted to give you an update on Hurricane Sandy. Again, it will be making its way into the Bahamas by this weekend, and all the full effects will be felt along the East Coast between Sunday and Tuesday. I will be back with my November Outlook video on October 30th, and maybe another update on Sandy if Sandy does make its way up the East Coast instead of going out to sea. I will give you another updated video on that. Until then, be prepared on the East Coast, and remember to keep your eye to the sky.